parents' trouble, finding herself, and a silent scar. These are the 10 weirdest things found in Turning Red. Number 10. Parental mistakes. In Turning Red, Ming loves May a lot, and the girl could never do wrong in her eyes. But when we start seeing May's side of this story, we find that she's doing her best to make her mother happy. This becomes a problem when May wants to do things that make her happy away from what Ming wants. Sometimes it becomes too much to bear, and we see May screaming into a pillow. We see this again when May's grandmother calls and Ming is afraid. This shows us that May and Ming's relationship may go bad like Ming and her mother's. Ming's mother confirms this in another part of the film when she tells May that she used to be close with her daughter before Ming had her red panda. Ming still sees May as her little girl, without realizing that the girl is growing older and will soon want her space. This may have ruined their relationship. Number 9. Puberty and identity crisis. Kids are taught about puberty in health class, but until they find out that for themselves, they won't fully understand what it means. So after watching Turning Red, only teenagers and adults may understand what the film is trying to say. Unfortunately, adolescents won't get it until later. When puberty comes, it brings some physical and emotional changes. May shows us just how scary that time can be. Before puberty, kids are happier and have no problem spending all their time with their parents. They don't mind having others tell them what to do. But after puberty, kids start to feel different emotions. They try to find themselves and do things that never occurred to them before. May finds this out the most brutal way. As much as she still wants to be Ming's little girl, she wants to go out with her friends, look at boys, and do things she wouldn't normally do. Torn between herself and her mother, May shows how late adolescence can be challenging for kids. Number 8. The scar. Another important theme in the movie is the mother-daughter relationship between May and her mom and between Ming and Grandma. When Grandma hears about May's red panda, she travels to see her granddaughter with Ming's sisters. When they arrive, we see that Grandma has a striking scar on her face. No one talks about the scar, but we notice one time when Grandma touched it, she talked to May alone and mentioned that she used to have a good relationship with Ming, but then Ming got a red panda and things went bad. We learn from this scene that Ming's red panda is often out of control, and she may have scratched Grandma when she first had it. This may also explain why Ming's red panda is bigger than May's. If you think these were weird and unusual, now we're gonna have a look at May's magic clothes, the size of a real panda, and a minor change. Number 7. Disappearing clothes. Since we started watching superhero movies, we've seen a lot of characters changing from regular clothes to their superhero suits. For example, Superman wears his regular work clothes, Spider-Man too, while Mr. Incredible changes in his car. Even the Hulk breaks out of his regular clothes, except for his pants, which managed to stay fit. Those are some great pairs of shorts. After years of watching these things on TV, we stopped thinking about where all the clothes go after they change. So in Turning Red, we see May in clothes before she changes, but when she becomes the red panda, she's without clothes. When she turns into a human again, the clothes are back. So May's got to teach these superheroes some things about making their regular clothes disappear and reappear. Number 6. Size difference. When May turns into a red panda, she's usually more than twice her regular height. She's also bigger in width. What some people may have missed is that red pandas are real, but they aren't as big as May when she transforms. They aren't even as big as regular-sized May. Red pandas are small animals, and the adult is only about the size of a house cat. So while May looks like a red panda with her orange fur and bits of white on ears and cheeks, she is way bigger than a real-life red panda. We wouldn't be talking about this if May was the most giant red panda in the movie, but she wasn't. Ming was almost the size of a Godzilla, if not bigger, and she just went through Toronto like King Kong in a stroll. But of course, we understand that the magic in May's family makes them turn into cute, cuddly monsters. But the size of the red panda depends on how strongly they're feeling at any time. So even though May doesn't face any problems after turning into a giant red panda in school and becoming even more popular, the real-life red pandas are cute because they're smaller. However, whether small or large, there aren't many red pandas left. So we hope that Turning Red will help people protect themselves more from harm. Number 5. That's not how periods work. The entire storyline in the movie is about May turning into a red panda and the problems she runs into. In simple terms, periods, and how awkward it can be at first. But things start to get shaky when we explore what makes May change forms between pandas and humans. The movie doesn't exclusively tell us what emotions are needed, it just expresses a strong emotion. So if May remains calm, she wouldn't change. But that's not how periods work. We're no experts, but staying calm doesn't make periods any better. But that's not the only inconsistency in the rules. While we think that only strong negative emotions make May change, we see her changing at will near the end of the film. So positive emotions work too? Before you think that's the case, remember that thinking of her friends also helped May keep the panda in. So positive emotions and staying calm keep the panda in, and it also doesn't. That's too many yeses and nos. Also, the ritual that was supposed to take May's panda away is stopped as Grandma, Ming, and May's aunts all break their trinkers. So they all become red pandas. But as soon as they're done, their red pandas return inside. So the ritual is no better than just having calm, positive thoughts. Number 4, the red peony. The first time we saw May as a red panda, she had a nightmare. But when she wakes up and sees herself as a real panda in the mirror, she is terrified and hides in fear. Her parents hear the noise, and Ming rushes to the bathroom door to check on May. She asked if May was alright, thinking her daughter was sick. But after listening for a while, she noticed that something unusual had happened and tried to guess. She asked, "Has the red peony bloomed?" May responds, "No, maybe." This scene shows us how periods are only talked about in whispers. Children may also be confused about why Ming said that, but adults will understand. Starting now, things get serious. It's now time to look at a throwback at an older movie, The Girl with the Crush on Boy Bands and Becoming a Panda Master. Number 3, The Teen Wolf Connection. Before the action drama series called Teen Wolf, there was a comedy movie from 1985 with the same name. Turning Red and this version of Teen Wolf have a lot of connections, in that the two main characters turn into something else from the typical human forms. But the similarities don't end there. Michael J. Fox, who plays Scott in the movie, turns into a werewolf and stares at himself in the bathroom, much like how May only noticed her new form in the mirror. Also, Scott is terrified about what he finds, just as his father comes into the bathroom door to ask if he's alright. But in the end, it turns out that the situation is a family thing. We all know how this panned out in Turning Red. Next, Scott comes out to his friend, but they don't judge him. Instead, Scott becomes popular at school and starts selling merchandise about himself. The same thing happens in Turning Red. The only difference between both movies is the ending. Scott leaves his werewolf self behind, while May embraces her inner red panda. Number 2, First Crushes. In the movie, one central character is the boy band Fourth Town. The movie was set in the late 90s and early 2000s when teens and tweens were in love with boy bands like NSYNC and the Backstreet Boys, just like May and her friends love Fourth Town. While this situation makes the show more relatable, it also introduces us to something new, safe crushes. We're basically watching the coming of age of May and her friends. Thankfully, the boy band is made up of some cute guys with excellent dress sense and beautiful voices. They appear cool and creative, and their songs are heartwarming, just like the Backstreet Boys did for us those many years with Queen of My Heart. The film also introduces us to some great songs by siblings, Phineas O'Connell and Billie Eilish, who sings the catchy songs boy bands used to make all those years ago. Now on to the moment you've all been waiting for. Number 1, Superpower Mastery. Every superhero we came to know and love had an early phase when they didn't know how to use their powers. And to learn, they spent a lot of time practicing and trying new things. In Turning Red, the situation is quite similar. First, May is awkward with her new body and doesn't know how to use it. She jumps and falls and lands poorly, but when she became more comfortable, she could suddenly dance, jump, and move like the Hulk, just leaping across buildings. How did she go from trying to attend the Four-Town concert with her friends to have such superpowers? And how she's suddenly comfortable switching from panda to human easily like that? May jumps through the roof and lands next to her friends on the concert ground in the scene. Does it mean that the red panda gives her superpowers? Considering what it stands for, that's not how it works, no? We have many questions, from how she mastered her abilities so quickly to how she had superpowers. Like, subscribe, and hit the bell icon.